Queridos, bem-vindos a mais uma jornada para dentro de casa. Esse projeto que nasceu para trazer mais autoconhecimento, sabedoria e cura para a casa de vocês. O papo de hoje é muito especial. É o papo com o nosso querido Andrés Adasme. Andrés, ele é chileno, mas já mora no Peru, em Cusco, há 19 anos. E ele é arquiteto de formação, um grande estudioso e apaixonado por astronomia, arqueologia e todo o impacto, né, dos céus com a terra, das construções antigas. Ele é um apaixonado pelas diversas, né, ancestralidades do planeta. E ele está mergulhando fundo na ancestralidade peruana para contar para a gente de um novo projeto que ele está fazendo, de um novo formato de fazer turismo para essa nova era que está chegando. Então, o papo está muito especial. Vem com a gente, que está só começando. É um prazer ter você com a gente.
Okay, so
all right. So
with Andrés, and Andrés is we met each other at one trade fair of tourism in Buenos Aires, and he held like we had a very big connection in just a very short time, right? So our souls connected without us like knowing each other mentally. And then after, when I got to find out what you do and how do you present yourself in the world, I got very much enthusiastic and admiring a lot of your work and your energy and how you are really doing some researches and very important researches throughout the archaeology, archaeonomy, and ancient people throughout the world. So yes, tell me, how is your quarantine? As we were talking right now, what are you experiencing? And then
well, these have been like a really weird, but at the same time positive moment. You know, I have to say, because I believe that one important thing in humanity is creativity, right? And creativity is important because you can imagine and you can put together something that is not material yet. So creativity for me at this time has been really important since I've been living here in Cusco, because I'm from Santiago, I'm from Chile, but since I moved to Cusco, is my mind chip switch, right, change. And the connection with place is very important, you know, as native traditional communities are still alive, preserving the ancient knowledge and traditions and connections. Is that how, you know, these places still preserve those energies, you know, from the past? It's still a living culture community, right? That makes this place powerful, right? And that's why I'm being absorbing and trying to absorb from this place. Putting together, you know, different things, you know, because in order that I'm an architect and I moved here, you know, to study Arqueoastronomy, which is the connection between the architecture in this case and the stars. I move into something different, and I think to creativity, right? Moving into one thing to another, because right now I'm like an experienced designer, right? I design experiences here in the Andes, but it was something that it moved from one thing to another, right? And that's me a lot, because nowadays design and experiences, it's like designing an architectonic project, in terms that you take a powerful concept. If you don't have the concept, the idea, the initial powerful idea, is at the end is nothing. Just break it down with one finger. But if it's a powerful concept, it's taking you to a good ending, right? So putting together the idea from architecture to tourism, in this case experiences, it's helping me a lot.
yes, and you're living in Cusco for what, 18 years, something like that, right?
Yeah, almost 18. Yes,
it's a lot. And
right.
I've been to Peru only once. And wow, it was so powerful already to go through the mountains and to feel the energy that I don't know what do you feel living there 18 years. It's like, wow, I believe it's like a really, really, really powerful experience. and to be connected to the ancestors. It's like something that I really wanted to do. I was reading, and you do like, you created the part of the ancient Inca trail, right? To go to Machu Picchu. And my dog is here. Inca. Inca. So, so the trail.
Nice. Hello.
Hello. So the trail is something that I really I was talking to myself, is something that after this quarantine is done, is something I really want to do, is to do the trail, like walking in the Andes and going up to hiking, and to get to know more of the ancestors and the energy over there. So what can you tell us about this knowledge that you're getting? And I know it's like a really vast, like you're studying that since you've moved there, so we cannot resume in 1 hour conversation, but what can you suggest us to do? Why to go to Peru? First, let's start from the beginning. Why to go to Peru? What people should know about Peru, and what the ancestors has to teach us?
Well, to be honest, it's really hard to describe Peru because it's so diverse in terms of civilizations, nature, and everything. And I'm not exaggerating, right? It's full of different climate and civilizations from everywhere. You put up a stone and there's a new temple, and it's true. So what make Peru, right, is maybe what we need to talk, because if I say, oh, it's a beautiful jungle, you guys already have it as well in Brazil, in Bhutan, in Nepal, right? So we need to talk what is unique in Peru. So what I believe, what is absolutely unique in this place, it's let's talk Cusco, right? Because I'm an expert in Cusco. I've been living and working and designing experiences in the area. Not in the not in the north, which is absolutely different, right? Not in the jungle. So here in the Andes, this place absolutely unique are first of all, the living culture. Okay, and you can find the living culture in many levels. First, of course, ancient civilizations and communities, right? That you move out of Cusco a couple hours, and you're gonna get a community, right? Well, they're still farming and adoring nature as the ancestors, right? Right here. That's, I think, the first level, right? The people that is still connecting with the soul, right? The humanity. So the second that makes this place so unique is the architecture, right? Of course, I'm going to say the ancient architects, right? And on the temples, right? Not only in Peru, but around the world. But what makes this place so unique is there is a temple that's called named Sacsayhuaman, right? Completely unique, right? There's no other like this. Sacsayhuaman, see? So there it's a Quechua word, right? But I'm not sure if it's the original name temple, because I believe this so old. It's not Inca, in my perspective. Okay, because in the order that the stars are aligned, let's say that my hand are the street of Cusco, okay, connected with the winter solstice, summer solstice, the moon rising. Today, the stars, the sky, it's like this. It's not matching. So if you move, because the earth is rotating, right? The axis is gobbling, right? Is that you can measure. And when the city was exactly aligned with the stars, that matched 10,000 BC.
Wow.
See? So I believe that those structures, the original design of the city and other places around with megalithic temples are aligned in another sky, right? So the Incas are just the last holders of this long heritage, right? Just like in other civilizations, you know. So that makes also this place unique. And then, you know, you can interconnect from Cusco in different directions, following the trails, which is also something very unique, is similar than the Roman trails, right?
Mhm.
But in this case, in mountains and connecting with different kind of necessities, right? Because there is no flats in this area, ups and downs. That's why they didn't develop the wheel, right? You can't use a wheel in the Andes,
Yeah.
right? Right. So, but they develop other kind of things, right? So this place is also unique because of that interconnection between one temple to another in a network that is also right. So here you can spend many days in different temples only in Cusco. See, let's say maybe an hour, see, around Cusco, and you can have many, and most of them unvisited, and that makes it also so more even unique, more magical, right? To discover, you have like that factor of exploration. That is something that nobody touched before. That is not in the world nowadays, right? With the tourism. So I believe that the post-COVID should move more into the untouched,
Yes.
right? In order not to contaminate that place, but to get, right? We haven't visited because we have the mind in another set.
Mm-hmm.
See?
I believe
So now we need to change.
Yes, I totally agree with you, because I was in Egypt right at the moment that the COVID started to like
Uh-huh.
to boom. So first, it was like an amazing opportunity to be there with nobody else around. So it was like, wow, so magical.
Wow.
But what we felt as a group, and what we got, even the information from the lectionnaires and the guides that were together with us, is that there is a lot of knowledge hidden that they're ready to come out, and knowledge that can change our lifestyle forever. So something like the treatment of water and things like
Mm-hmm.
that, really they're like costless, almost like a big technology, but costless. So everybody, the whole humanity would have the my dog is trying to come up. Let's just be really see.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, what I was saying is that when I went to Egypt, this knowledge of things and big treasures hidden on these ancestors' lands, right? That could really
Mm-hmm.
do the shift from these old days that we are just letting go, right? In order to the new world, what is really important, and people to be more united through the access of technology for everybody. So I think in
Mm-hmm.
and what I got to find out there, and you can also explain us better, is that the pyramids in Egypt, they are very much connected to the pyramids and everything in Peru, and also very much connected to the hidden pyramids in the Amazon in Brazil, which they are starting to show up, but like there are hidden pyramids in the Amazon, which nobody almost never heard of it. So it's like so powerful, because people didn't want us to get in touch with these secrets before. I'm gonna show some pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put some pictures in between here, but everything is connected,
Please.
and it's amazing.
Yeah. In fact, that is amazing that you mentioned, because I have been studying the area, right, and the interconnection between other megalithic areas, constructions in the world. And my last focus, it's connected with a special line that is connecting Easter Island with Ollantaytambo and the pyramids in Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a straight line, and of course, it's crossing over Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this line could have the clue of where those pyramids are located, right? Because there's always, in a network. So this line is perfect. It freaked me out when I was tracing and working on it. Because there are other special line, right? So Ollantaytambo is exactly in the crossing of two lines. See, this line is shorter and it's starting in Tiahuanaco, right? In Titicaca, Tiahuanaco.
Mm-hmm.
See, from Tiahuanaco, and it crosses over Cusco and goes all the way to the north and ends in Cajamarca. Okay, so that line, it's called by the ancient people as the Viracocha's path. See, and the Viracochas are the Viracocha's path.
Viracochas.
See? Viracocha, yeah. Viracocha is like Quetzalcoatl, like a god. See?
Mm-hmm.
So the Viracochas, supposedly, they left from the Titicaca Lake, and they found Cusco, and then they found Cajamarca, right? So that's what the legend says, and they name a line. So if you go on Google Earth and you make a straight line from the main temple in Tiahuanaco, the Calasasaya, on a straight line to Cajamarca, you're going to notice that that line is crossing exactly over Cusco. See? But exactly. See? And from Tiahuanaco to Cusco, see? It's 1/3 of the whole line. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? To Tiahuanaco, Cajamarca. That's the Viracocha's path. But there is another path that also the myth, the legends, here in the Andes mention, that is the Capajñan. Have you heard about the Capajñan?
No.
Capajñan is in Quechua the word for the Inca Trail, the old trail. Capaj, okay, is old, and ñan is trail. See, the Capajñan. So I believe, I don't know, I have a feeling, right, that the Capajñan is not, they're not talking about these lines here, but they're talking about this huge line that is exactly, and in this case, Ollantaytambo, it's in 1/4 from Isla de Pascua to Ollantaytambo, and then all the way in a straight line to Giza. See? Because it's reaching exactly the top of the pyramid. So it's at 1/3 and 1/4.
Mm-hmm.
Ollantaytambo, right? Ollantaytambo, that, man. So, speaking about experiences, I'm planning taking groups for the equinoxes next year,
Mm-hmm.
right? To see the pyramid, because there is a pyramid trace in the fields, right, of the farming fields in Ollantaytambo, right, that have a special angle. It's designed with a special angle, okay? And that pyramid, you need to hike up to a mountain to look down to the valley to realize the full shape of the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you don't see it. It's flat,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the main faces of this pyramid, the two lines that make the face, like a triangle,
Mm-hmm.
this line here is going to the equinox, okay? It's perfect to the equinox. And this line here to the winter solstice.
Mm-hmm.
But not only the winter solstice. This is the line that is coming from the Easter Island, is going to Giza.
Wow.
It really freaked me out, right? So I'm studying this, connections now. So I would like to hear more about Egypt. I went to Egypt as well a year, 2 years ago, and I was wondering, where did you visit in Egypt? How was your itinerary? How do you weave the experience?
I went to Egypt with a friend of mine, which you also have to meet for sure. His name is Conrado.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a healer, a spiritual leader here in Brazil. He's actually from Spain.
Nice.
So you guys are going to have a very...
He's from Spain.
He's from Spain. He's from Barcelona.
Okay.
He's from... That is like a small city, Oviedo, I believe. And then he went to Brazil also to live, because he felt that his mission, let's say, was in Brazil. And then he started to study, and then he started to enter to different places, ancestors places in the world. So he travels to these gates, energetic gates of the world. And Egypt is one of his groups. He does groups to Peru, and he had one scheduled now for June, but most probably it's not going to happen this year. But he does Turkey, Egypt. He has lots of different places. And in Egypt, since he's a healer and he works with energy, our main target was to work with the energy. So me, since I don't have much knowledge about architecture, I don't have knowledge about a lot of things, but the moment that I'm there, I can feel everything in my heart. So we did a big process of healing. We started the trip on the 8th, I believe, of March in the temple of Ramses in Abu Simbel. So we entered the night.
You went all the way up to south.
Yeah, we started everything in Aswan, and then we were like going up, and then we took a boat in the Nile, and then Luxor and all that, and then we end up in Cairo. So we did
nice.
More or less. That was the itinerary. So everything that we planned didn't happen accordingly. So first, the COVID was one that started to happen while we were there, and then after we had like some sandstorms, amazing, that made us be trapped in Abu Simbel, which is this place we couldn't leave because the roads were closed. But we did a lot of meditation and a lot of healing in this group. We were 8. And I don't know, it was something that it's very hard to describe exactly. But we end up the trip on the 20th of March, which it was the equinox, right in the pyramids, in Giza pyramids, and nobody was there. So it was actually nobody. It's a big lie. There was a group that was there before us, which is very symbolical, which is a group of Africans. They were there, and they were there like very peacefully and very beautifully. And after they left, like we entered, it felt like they were giving us the passage for this new era where everybody belongs, you know, like everything that we did and every spiritual work we did, it was very powerful to heal certain things in the world. So like female and male connection, like to be balanced, black and white to be balanced. We have like religion, so Islam, Jews, and all. We had a moment that we were healing that. So everything we did, there was like a big healing in ourselves, which we felt that we had the energy to help the world. Also, like being like a channel. Not, of course, we are nobody. Like we are, everybody is the same, but we feel like we are a channel where all these things happen in our bodies over there, and we can take this to the world. So it was, I don't know, very powerful.
Wow. When you said that this group were leaving Giza, were leaving the king's chamber, they were there, they were coming inside the pyramid.
Yes.
Wow. I love that place. I was lucky enough to spend like 30 minutes by myself. I spent maybe an hour. I sweat as a horse, but I spent as much as I could. In fact, I have some recordings that I did, making some ohms and stuff inside, trying to connect with the vibration inside. And I remember there was this really annoying guy inside, right?
The same guy was there.
You never know in Egypt if it's official and unofficial. Of course, the same guy saying, hey, don't touch, and I take a photo, I take your photo. No, guy, no, thank you, I'm okay. So I was, absolutely, that was your last day. So you were following all the temples where everybody wants to get to some money, right?
Yeah.
So I was, told but my guide, right? So yeah, and finally he left. I never, even hear about him. I was, hear my stuff. I don't hear you. Thank you. See? So he left, and I was there by myself.
You know what happened?
I was looking every little corner.
Wow, it's amazing. Because I when we were there, we were in a group, right? So we were 8, and we wanted to do meditation and prayers in some very similar to Om, but using light language. I don't know if you're familiar with light language, but like all this kind of big movements. And the guy was there also, and he wanted to ask money to everybody at the moment. So he was really a part of the process. And then there was a moment that he stopped in everybody, and then I had one amethysta, which is a crystal. You know amethysta? I always carry
Yes.
crystals with me in my trip. And this amethyst is very special because the other part of this amethyst is in the Amazon, in the river. I dropped it, like I actually buried it. I always do this kind of things. So I buried my amethyst in Amazon, and I have the amethysta sisters in my pocket. So at the moment that I look at the guy and everybody was so much connected, I said, okay, I'm not going to say anything to this guy. I'm just going to look into his eyes and see what happens. And then I started just to look at, like, we had the connection just looking. Then I started to cry. He started to cry. And then I gave my amethysta to him and say, okay, we're okay. Like, I felt so much love. It was amazing, you know. We felt love to each other. I know he felt love also. And then he left us there, you know. It was so powerful because it was also, if he's there in these conditions, it's because we as humans, we failed somewhere, because he shouldn't be there asking.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Right? He doesn't have the basics. That's why he's there. So I don't know, just something that I wanted to mention, because since you mentioned this, it was so powerful moment for me there, really. Wow.
It was. I mean, I was very lucky, you know, and I designed a trip along Egypt by myself. I went myself with a guide, and at some point I said to the guy, just let me here and come back for me in 2 hours, because I was wanting to get to that experience, you know, to the unvisited places, to where when we visit, for example, Karnak, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said to my guide, you know what, Atef, take me to the places that you really love in these places. I don't want the regular tourist visit and you tell me that this and that and the pharaoh. I don't want it. Take me to the places where you can feel, you know, that something is special, something that you want to share. And that, well, it makes me a friendship, you know. We're very close, very close friend with Atef. You know, he lives in Luxor. He took me to different temples around Kenya, and we went 4 hours to a temple to the west, crossing the Nile and going to the west. We visited amazing places, and I was also lucky to be at those places by myself. Right? So I was, you know, I have the opportunity to connect and to absorb something that is different. And speaking about something more technical, you know, that I have this little machine, okay, that you'd register the cosmic rays, the cosmic energy, right? It's a Geiger measure.
Mm-hmm.
You know that? So you can measure the cosmic radiation, right? And I was, you know, here in Cusco since nowadays, right? I still have it like in my pocket. And I'm going everywhere, you know, measuring the levels of cosmic radiation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really don't know why. But here in Cusco, I have to say two things about this. Here in Cusco, right, the radiation, let's say that goes between, let's say numbers, 2.5 and 3.5. Okay?
Okay.
That's the range in the places in Cusco.
Mm-hmm.
The more, you know, active places, we're saying, it's the Intihuatana, the sundial in Machu Picchu, the cathedral in Cusco, Coricancha, the Temple of the Gold, okay? And what else? In one place called Pumamarca, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Close to Ollantaytambo,
Mm-hmm.
Pumamarca, okay? Those are the high level range, you know, cosmic radiation levels.
Okay.
The rest is between 2 and something, right? But there is one temple here that is called Inquiltambo, that is like a rock carved inside, see, like a tunnel that goes inside the rock, and inside there are 2 niches, one facing to the other, one is bigger to the other. I believe that this rock is to give information and to work in ayahuasca treatment between a master and an apprentice,
Mm-hmm.
because of the vibration inside the rock, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that place I measure, it is like, I call it death, almost zero.
Wow.
Almost zero, no radiation, the only spot, right? So then when I went to Egypt, I said, wow, here in the pyramids, I'm gonna, you know, my machine is gonna be, you know, going crazy, you know, it's gonna make tilt. But it was the opposite.
Wow.
You know, in the places in all the temples that I visited in Egypt were low range than the places in the Andes, right? Everywhere. And the lower ones were Komombo, right? A temple on the way to Aswan, Komombo.
I've been
And see, beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the king's chamber, right? So it's the opposite, you know. So maybe it's like a shield to protect from the cosmic rays instead of the opposite.
Wow.
Well, this is just one number that I get, you know, from my little machine.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting, you know. It's interesting that. But then I was thinking, why in the Andes there's more? Because maybe the Andes, the mountains, we're in the top of rocks instead of a desert, and maybe that is connecting more with the cosmic rays, and because, you know, there are some minerals that absorb more, like gold and quartz, and some others that absorb more of these cosmic rays. So radiation, right? So I don't know, maybe I don't know. It's just a fact.
Wow. It's so amazing, and I need so much to connect you guys, like to make like a big conversation after this is done, because there was also one part of our team, which he's very much into the studies of the calendars from the past. So how everything is connected with the calendars and the Mayas and
Nice.
all that, but he knows. It's amazing. Like I believe all this is gonna be amazing. Okay.
So Paula, well, yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Tell me. No, you go ahead. Tell me.
I was thinking of to ask you. We were talking, and in our synchronicity, we talked like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and then we started to see how can we help each other, because we feel this connection. And you told me about your new project, and I want so much to hear about that. So please, if you can tell us.
Yeah. Well, the project, it's about, you know, having a new perspective of how we should visit the world, right? Nowadays, we talk about tourism, and tourism is coming from the word in French, tour, which is strolling. Es un paseo, ¿sí?
Mm-hmm.
Es un paseo. Entonces, so I think that tourism cannot be that irresponsible, right? And coming into the new age that we are coming now, is that I feel that we need to change the way that we explore, the way that we connect with the places that we visit. So in order to this, is that I'm planning making non-touristic experiences, because if you think about Cusco, for example, the touristic places are Machu Picchu, Ollantaytambo, the Sacred Valley, this and that, right? So we have like 5 or 6 that is the top 6, right? Mm-hmm. So of course, these kind of experiences are not going to those places. It's the opposite, right? So let's say that the concept is turning everything upside down, right? Mm-hmm. So the idea, what I'm planning, is a 12-day experience going to the mountains to a secluded community where you're going to live the experience of having the connection that the people there have with their regular but substantial things in life. Animals, farming, house, and rituals.
Beautiful.
Right? And nature, right? So the idea is having an experience where you are going to leave yourself behind to connect with people that is connected with the main mother nature, right? So the idea is to educate the heart of people, see, in order to reconnect with our roots and absorb the love for Mother Nature that we need to change our life. Okay? So the experience itself, right, is taking you to Cusco, of course, and from here, ideally, you're not moving much, because the thing is not having, you know, oh yeah, I'm going all around Peru in 15 days. Yeah, but can you say how many planes you're taking, how many cars, what's the contamination? first of all, right? Like your carbon footprint, right? It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of that, it's going only to one destination. But in that destination, you're going to have enough places and experiences and activities to reconnect. Right? So this is way more than just a stroll, right? This is something that ideally is going to reconnect you. And I'm planning, right? And I'm thinking about Peru because it's right here. It's 3 hours, 4 hours from Cusco, the community that I'm planning working with. So the idea, right, is not moving far. It's just coming, to the places that are, I said, unvisited, but the most powerful ones, right? And I have a lot of connection with that community. I have been exploring with them. They're my friends, right? They're family. In fact, I'm the godfather of one of the kids, right? And Mountain Lotus of Peru is doing work with them, right? But nowadays, it's just tangential, right? It's just, but we do it.
It's deep.
Right? The experiences that I designed, yes. The experiences that I designed with Mountain Lotus of Peru takes you to this community for one afternoon, right? So you get to connect with people. You see how they live, but you cannot absorb in a couple hours, right? But everyone that goes there, I know because I've been many times with people, with journalists, photographers, etc., right? Because part of my work is also as the host of Mountain Lotus. So I see the impact that this kind of community is making people. So can you feel what's the impact in 10 days or 12 days of experience? Going, feeding the animals in the top of the mountain, being grateful with the sun and the rain, come back with the animals in the afternoon. During the day, we are going to have more activities, right? In regards of connection and different kind of activities, right? But at the end of the experience, right, I'm always thinking that reciprocity is also part of this kind of experiences. So you need to leave something behind, which is not money. So at the end of the experience, I'm planning that the people who's coming to this experience is leaving something. So you can recognize along the first week what you can do, what you can leave, right? So maybe you can have something in your mind before the trip, but also you can say, I can do this, for the people there. So their reciprocity, right? Or maybe I can say, I'm going to work in the new wall they're doing there in the church, and I'm going to teach them how to improve the adobe bricks or this and that. So that kind of activity. So do you need to leave something, right? It's about reciprocity. I think that's something that it's, what is successful in these communities nowadays, until nowadays, it's their community. It's not about being, solidarity. Oh yeah, look, I'm not wearing this, I'm giving it to somebody. No, it's about community, which is absolutely different, right? So communities here in the Andes with ups and downs, right? Because all communities, small towns are big hills, right? That saying. But they have everything. I have called some of my friends. Hey guys, how are you? How is the COVID over there? What is that, right? COVID is not reaching these communities. Not only that, they have the animals, they have the fresh air, they have, I was hiking in the mountains 3 days before when you were in Egypt. I was in the mountains close to this town, Choquecancha, and I was thinking, wow, how lucky I am to breathe, this fresh air, to live with this, mister from the community, Valentin. He's the healer. He reads coca leaves. He's a herbalist. He's everything. He can read the stars. He can read the rains. He make a ceremony and the rains is not coming. Right? It's amazing. So that kind of connections, right? Humanity, right? Turn humanity upside down, humankind into kind human, right?
Perfect. It's amazing, and it's like an amazing concept, and it's what I believe. For example, my trip to the Amazon is very much connected to the same to the same principles. Surely, since I just have 2 years of company, it's very, 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 very young.
Mhm.
So the Amazon is like a big punch in everybody, because it's what I was telling Pedro, my boyfriend, yesterday. It's like Amazon is like you take a rocket. It's like people take a rocket to go to the moon. You take a rocket to go to the Amazon. You take a rocket to go to the simple life, the simple as possible, which I believe is very much connected to the simplicity of the Andean people.
Yes.
And exactly, they come from a very similar root, right? And what they teach us as their simplicity, and the Amazon, just like the DNA changes, like of the air and the water, and like swimming in the rivers of the Amazon, and some of the rivers, especially this one's close to the Tapajós region. I don't know. For me, it's very special energetically wise, because it feels like you're swimming in the útero. I don't know how to say that, of the earth. It feels like you are really much connected to the mother. Like you are the baby.
Yeah.
You are like being
Yes.
protected and held. But the communities that live close to the river, which people call as Indios, they are not Indios. They are actually the communities that are there for a long, long time, but they have lots of knowledge, and also of healing, on what to do, and herbalists and all. And the communities, they are so much well connected, because they are not who is better or who is not. Everybody belongs, and everybody has a very special and important role. So what you want to bring with your project, also what you can give afterwards, what can you give after your experience, it really is going to come from the heart. And people are going to start to connect themselves with what their heart has to offer, not anymore what the mind has to offer, because what the mind has to offer destroyed our planet at the moment, right? Because it I don't know, ambition, I don't know, all these kind of things it's mind created, right?
Yes.
So we can do similar things in two places, but and we can, because for me to travel already is not, and it has never been, but just a tour. I was always very upset with the fact of going some places and just taking pictures, and all of us, like this kind of things, like people are not there. They just want to, I don't know.
Yes.
But, and I don't know, it's a beautiful project you have to offer, and I don't know. I want to be part of it.
So how we can work together? I believe that either, right, we can have an experience here in the Andes with a group of your people, coming here, or I can make a group and take it to the Amazon, right, with you, right? So I think it can work, in both ways. And of course, I'm planning, these connection with ancient civilizations around the world. And I already have some friends, connected in different places. But ideally, right, the first one, of course, is going to be here in Peru. And then, I'm going to send you a draft, what I'm working on, with all the activities that I mentioned, and some others that I haven't. So the idea, right, is to start, offering something different and reconnect, right, and reconnect. So let me send you, this draft and get your ideas and feedback. Okay, and see what we can work moving forward. Okay.
Yes, and since we are recording this to show to the people, and we just created our new project together with people who are going to be watching us, so everybody is welcome to visit our project as soon as it's going to be ready, right, Andres? I'm so excited about all this that I don't even know what to ask you anymore, because like I was really wanting to know more about astronomy and about arqueoastronomy and more about the stars. And I don't know. Maybe we can
we can
since we are talking for almost like an hour, I think we can talk about this subject, about how people can connect themselves from their homes at this moment, and is a challenge for you. So we can help people inside their houses to connect with the nature and to connect with what's around. So what can you suggest?
Ooh, at this moment, as I said, creativity, I think it's the clue. And for example, as an architect, I like to sketch. See, so the last 10 weeks, I have been sketching a world, right? That it's out of this planet. It's in another planet, and it's about the beginning of our gods. See, so I've been planning this whole world. It's like the Middle Earth of Tolkien, right? So I've been sketching, a whole plan. But then I start doing perspective and architectonic plans of different temples, right? So I'm working on the creation of this extraterrestrial world, planet, right? So I think that at that point, right, I'm moving out of this place, right? I'm not inside my house. I'm sketching and having ideas, and and it takes me out. So I think that the way, right, to avoid this lockdown and to put together, something better, because where we were in the past, it wasn't, the right way to connect with our world. So I believe that once you start, the creativity, ways, in different ways. Maybe the way that you can be creative is cooking, right, and designing new stuff, or maybe just downloading an app where you can see the stars, right? I have a window. In fact, this place that I'm now, it's facing to a very beautiful view of Cusco and have a huge view of the sky. So every night, I can come here and see the movement because I'm interested as well, right? Yeah. But it's also nice, and maybe you can download the app and start learning about the constellations, right? Because if you live in a city, the main stars are the only ones that you're seeing, right? Because of the light pollution. But you can recognize the main constellations in the night. That it's pretty fun. Also, if you are in a lockdown, you can see also the movement of the moon and say, wow, no, I haven't, I never realized that the moon set in that hill in front of me, right? And that's the way the ancient people connected, with the environment, with the place where you are. Nowadays, if you ask somebody, about how's the moon today, maybe 90% of the people doesn't know, because you are not looking at the sky, right? And there are so many references and clues, about the past, about the future as well. So I don't know. I think I went too long. But creativity, I think it's something important.
It's amazing. I am in the quarantine. I did like a little bit after I came from Egypt. I need to stay in quarantine totally from everybody. So I stood here in south of Brazil, close to the beach. I am like really, really happy to be very close to the beach, very close to the nature, and I can really look at the sky almost every night and really like. And I did download the app of the sky because I didn't have the chance before, and then really it's really so powerful because now I can also I can recognize oh, here is the Scorpius. I can see Scorpius here very clearly, without a doubt anymore. Oh, here is Arcturus and all this movement. Wow, maybe there are things happening and coming from there, and then it's so amazing. Then you see Jupiter, and then once when I I've been to Atacama, and I had the chance of looking at Jupiter very closely. I could see the 4 moons around them, and then it's so nice to just imagine how big is everything and how small we are, and then just to reflect on that, right? So just surrender to the flow, right? Surrender to life, and creativity, it's letting the soul, right? Letting the heart be part of it. So it's really nice, really amazing. I'm really happy to talk to you on this. Really happy. Thank you for being part of this and to share a little bit of your vast knowledge, which I wanted to be hours and hours and hours talking with a tea in my hands and a fire, and then like a lot of people talking. I hope one day and soon we can do that. Thank you very much.
I hope that too. No, thank you. Thank you for the call, and I'm always open to talk, and thank you.
Gracias.
Always a pleasure talking to you. I feel the connection as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.